All right, so welcome again to the informational session about the certificate and grant writing program at Western Washington University. My name is Allison Jones and I'm the instructor for this program. I have 23 years experience writing grants, and I'm a grant writing professor here at Western as well as Evergreen College, Seattle Central, and Spark the Fire grant writing classes. I'm also a grant reviewer for several foundations and government entities, so I can also offer the perspective from the other side of the table. This class is an online format with 8 modules, so it's basically a 9-week class with 8 Zoom meetings and reading and writing assignments in between. Every student in this course is going to write a complete grant proposal from start to finish, step by step, with my help along the way. And so every week you'll turn in a new section of your grant proposal, you'll receive my feedback, and you'll also receive peer review and get to read other students' work. So that's been really valuable and an excellent part of this course. This course also covers where to find grants. So we do prospect research, strategy, evaluation, organizational readiness, grant management, and building relationships, and ethics. So we're going to cover the entire cycle of grant writing, but the emphasis is definitely on the proposal writing. So the capstone project for this course is to write a grant proposal. You get to choose the organization. So if you work for a nonprofit organization or even a profit organization that you would like to write the grant for, then perfect, that's great. Otherwise, if you don't, you will need to choose an organization that you feel passionate about. And I often have students say, well, can you help me choose an organization? And sure, I'm happy to send you a list. But what happens every single time is that people end up choosing an organization that they're passionate about, which makes sense because when we're in this business, when we write grants, we're doing it not because it's just a job, but because of the meaningful work that it involves. And so pick an organization, choose an organization that, whether it's humane treatment of animals or social justice or human services or the environment or climate change, whatever it is that gets you going, I want you to choose an organization and a project that you feel passionate about. And so the course will walk you through how to contact an organization once you've identified one. Send them an email requesting an interview. It basically walks you through how to collaborate with an organization as a student in a grant writing course. So to earn the certificate in grant writing, and we'll talk about what certificate means in just a minute, you will attend at least 6 of the 8 Zoom meetings. All of the Zoom meetings are recorded. So if you have to miss one, you can watch the recording and write a synopsis and turn it in, less than 1-page synopsis for attendance credit. Participate fully in the course with the camera on. When we meet for Zoom meetings, it's not a lecture, it's problem-based and case-based discussions. And so I want you to be aware of that the Zooms are interactive. And then for the writing assignments, there are rubrics provided for each writing assignment. So you have a cheat sheet on what's accepted, what's not accepted. So there's no surprise. As long as you have each writing assignment accepted, then you move to the next section and receive specific feedback. The only reason that people don't earn the certificate in this course is if you simply don't do the writing. So as long as you commit to doing the writing, even if it's not complete, even if maybe you don't feel as great about the writing as you want to, just keep turning it in, and then I can work with you wherever you're at. By the end of the 8 weeks, you're really going to feel confident with your writing. You're going to be super knowledgeable on how the grant writing process works. And I like to say that being a grant writer is like owning a truck. Everyone wants to be your best friend. And that's really true. You're never going to run out of work as a grant writer. So whether you work for an organization or you want to become a freelance grant writer, this market is wide open right now. There are way more grants available than people have time to write. So you're definitely in the right place if that's exciting to you. So week 1, we're going to do the welcome course overview. Week 2, logic model and start writing the organizational description for your grant proposal. Week 3, we do the community needs statement. Week 4, we do project budget and making the ask, so to speak. Week 5 and 6, we're going to cover the project description, which is the bulk of the grant proposal. That's where you have the work plan and the timeline. Week 7, we're going to do the evaluation. And then week 8, you basically got your grant proposal done. You're just refining it at this point. So we're going to talk about documentation, ethics, and building relationships with grant makers. No Zoom on March 19th. That is the deadline for turning in your final project.
All right. So like I kind of led off, we're excited to offer a payment plan option this year. So this is the first time we've done this. And the opportunity is to take the payment, if you register at Early Bird or the regular rate, to take that and break that into 3 separate payments that you can make. We will send you email reminders letting you know when that payment schedule is. But the incentive is to sign up earlier, because you would get that 3 payments as we get closer to the course. After the Thanksgiving holiday, the payments are broken up into two separate payments. So definitely, if it's something of interest to you and you want to look into, I would say the sooner the better to kind of take advantage of that payment plan. So, and if there's any questions or anything outside of this, feel free to email me directly. I'll put my personal email in the chat so you can have access to me. The second opportunity that we have for you is we have scholarships available. So for this program, we're awarding 5 $500 scholarships. So there is an application process for that. It'll go through a series of questions, high-level financial questions. There's also a diversity statement as well that's included in the application process. So definitely 2 opportunities to kind of spread the load of the upfront cost of the class. So like I said, if there's any questions for me, please let me know. I do want to stress that the payment plans are interest-free. So this is a great opportunity. So the early bird rate is currently open now. It opened on Monday, and that will end on December 18th. And that is $1,299. And then the regular rate is $1,500. And so that will end actually on January 23rd. So the day before the class. So you have the last minute option to register right before the class starts. So that's something else that we rolled out this year as well. So looking forward to get some results on that. There's about 2.4 CEUs. So if you're not familiar with CEUs, or continuing education units, so that's about 24 hours of coursework. And it's a 1-to-10 ratio for that. And then this course is non-credit as well. So instead of credit that's recognized by the institution, you will have the CEUs that are recognized by the Office of Superintendent Instruction, OSPI, down in Olympia.
So I just have a couple of case studies. These are students that have been through the course and have had amazing success. This is Nancy. She works at the Evergreen Goodwill of Northwest Washington. And she, right after completing this course, was promoted to Grants and Communications Specialist within a month of completing the course. This is Annie. Annie works for the Refugee Women's Alliance in Seattle. And she said that after completing the course, she wrote several successful grants, securing over $500,000 for her organization. And it had been an exciting and rewarding move into this aspect of nonprofit work and building new skills. This is Hope. Hope works for the Confederated Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation. And she's actually a biologist, but she took the course twice, which is interesting because the course is designed for individuals who are novice. And so coming right in, you start with the basics and move you through quickly into the more advanced strategy. But she wanted to come back again and take it again for the more advanced information. So a few years later, she came back, she took it again. And then this is her quote: in the last 12 months, her department received almost $274,000 in grants, which was a considerable increase. And now comprising about 45% of her department's annual budget. And then my last case study is Lee. Lee took the course, and right afterwards, she accepted the position of a grant writer job in the American Cancer Society. It was her dream job, and she is thriving there. So let's just talk a little bit about grant professional facts. In case you're wondering about the career, what is it like? You can see the average salary is about $77,000, and that depends on the job title that you're going for. Work profile: about 41% of a grant writer's time is spent actually writing grants, 29% managing grants, and 30% on other administrative tasks. Most grant writers write 21 grants per year, and about 65% of those are awarded. 79% are employed full-time, 17% are consultants, and about 5% are part-time. You can see the demographics here: 13% early career, 40% mid-career, 47% transition into grant writing and their advanced career. 29% have a bachelor's degree, 51% a master's degree, 16% a doctorate, mostly in urban areas and rural, suburban, and then rural. And then 25% of grant writers work at a nonprofit organization, 12% in the government sector, 10% at a college or university, 6% K through 12. And then finally, I want to talk about the professional certification. So this is a certificate in grant writing. It's a professional certification. It's like getting a certification in project management, for example. This class also counts for 24 points towards two other certifications that you can get. One is called the GPC, the Grant Professional Certification, and the other one is called the CFRE, the Certified Fundraising Executive. Both of these certifications are the type of certifications that you can put behind your name. They require 3 years experience. The number of continuing education hours you need for those certifications depend on your current level of education. So whether you have a bachelor's degree or not, but it's about 30 or 40. So 24 points towards that, you're basically there. And you have to take a knowledge exam, which this course actually prepares you really well for the knowledge exam. So if you want to move into having one of those certifications, this course is a great step towards that. But you can see that as far as professional certifications go, of the grant writers that are currently in the marketplace, 74% have none, 12% have the GPC, 5% have a CFRE, and 8% have what this one is, which is a college certification. And so having a certification, you're really going to stand out in the marketplace by acquiring this certificate in grant writing.
So I have a question. I don't know if Western offers a master's in nonprofit administration or anything similar to that, but would these credits apply towards something like that?
So this certification program is a non-credit program. So they would definitely not count towards a degree in nonprofit management. Technical requirements. So word processing software, you can use Microsoft Word or Google Docs, either one. Zoom video conference app, which is a free account. Having a webcam, preferably connected to a computer, because I like to use annotate features quite a bit within the Zoom, so it's interactive and participatory. And then I do encourage everyone to get a Grammarly account if you don't already. That is a free cloud-based editing software that will just help you recognize your grammar and spelling issues, so that I can, when I'm reading your paper, I can focus on the content of what you're writing rather than the grammar and the spelling. Okay, so any questions that you have about the course?
How often does the course come up? So it starts in January and ends in March. How many times a year do you have the course?
I think in the past we've offered it twice a year.
So typically winter and spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is this course, I can see where this course would be valuable for a 501c3. I work for the Dairy Federation, which is a C5. Labor and agricultural organizations are 501c5s. Then I am, unfortunately, the incoming president of my local Chamber of Commerce, because I attended a meeting and no one else wanted to do it.
Is a 501c6?
I'm not sure what the nonprofit status is of the chamber, but would you think this would be valuable for a Chamber of Commerce and an agricultural organization that are not C3s?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. This course is applicable for nonprofit organizations, for-profit organizations, government entities, 501c6s, which are like chambers, as well as trade organizations. Typically about 50% of the students are working for a government entity, and about 50% are in the I would say there's usually a percentage that are working with a university or a K-12 school as well.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I think I have very narrow like understanding of what grants are for because I've been in the education world so long. So the few that I've written have been pretty basic grants, and I've done a little bit of research. I'm just looking to expand my resume just in case I decided to go into another field like upper education or project management related within the education field or something else. When looking at like finances and who we're turning these grants into, can you kind of talk about that a little bit? What the financing and the figuring out who to go to for the money, how much you cover in that in the class, and how you guide the students in that.
I think you're talking about prospect research. So the
Yes.
course definitely covers where to find grants. So we're going to go over federal grants. We're going to go over state, county, municipality government grants, foundations, corporations, tribes, service clubs, and associations. So all of those are covered within the class. Where to find them, how to approach them.
I haven't written any grant proposal in America, as I'm from other country. Usually in my country, grant proposal comes with grant opportunity comes with boiler form. How is it here? Like government funded grants comes with their own boiler form or just a free writing or something?
I'm not sure what the word is you're saying, the bolophone. What is that?
This section.
Oh, boiler form. Yeah.
The words, how many word counts and the titles.
Right. Yeah. So it's the same way here. Every single application is different. About 50% of them moved online. And so you go online and you create a login and a password, and then you're answering questions, and you have a certain amount of characters and spaces to squeeze your answer into. Still, there's quite a few applications out there that are paper applications, or at least you fill them out in a Word document and then you PDF them and email them in. Some tribes want you to handwrite your grant application still. So it's really all across the board. And this class will certainly prepare you for any of those applications. What I've basically done is I've taken from my experience of writing grants for 23 years, I've taken all of the types of grant applications, and I've created a common, like you said, a boilerplate common grant application that every student is going to be completing the exact same questions. And so it has 5 sections, which are common to any grant proposal you're going to come across. And that's the organizational description, the community needs statement, the budget and the request information, the project description, and the evaluation. Once you have completed this grant application, this boilerplate template, then you'd be able to take that information and cut and paste it to nearly any grant application you would come up against. It's pretty comprehensive and thorough. You'll feel very prepared.
So this opportunity comes with just good grants, good well-written grants paper, proposal, or you usually have to do pitching in person?
Yeah, so for this course, what we're going to do is write the grant application, and we'll certainly cover strategies for approaching and building relationships with grant makers, but that part of submitting the application would come after the course. So it's not a part of this course. I'm going to teach you how to write the proposal, build relationships, how to prospect research and find grant proposals, but the actual submitting of something would happen after the course.
I mean,
does that answer your question?
Generally, in your country, the grant writing a good proposal and submit it is just a 99%, or is just you after submitting the paper you have to do the pitching in front of some kind of people.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Finally get the funding. Yeah, grants.
Yeah, I don't see very many grant makers requiring sort of an interview process. Sometimes there's a site visit. So if you have a physical location, the grant maker might come in and visit and see how things are operating within the organization. Every once in a while, I'll see a grant maker that wants maybe like a video presentation or an in-person interview or a pitch, as you say. But the majority are looking at this paper application or this online application, and then they might have a phone call with follow-up questions.
I think I have an answer to yours too. Another thing is what I've noticed is when I've done a grant, or I've known other people who have, is they ask for like evidence of how the grant has been useful, whether it's through pictures or a case study, for example, or something. That's usually the follow-up with that, which is awesome that they want that, because then you can show, look what you've done, look what we've been able to do with the money. So that's something I know. I have a question. Okay, the course is over. We may or may not have this wonderful proposal that we want to send. What resources follow? Are there any resources beyond the course, contacts, resources, or anything beyond the time frame of the course that we have access to?
I encourage everyone to connect via LinkedIn and connect with me via LinkedIn. I'm constantly sharing job opportunities and just continuing education research articles. Every module within the course has additional resources. So if you come across a topic and you want to go, okay, I'd like to learn more about narrative change or logic models or whatever, you can dig deeper into that. And I love to stay in touch with my students, but in terms of like a formal program that follows this, there's not anything formal. I try to encourage students to network, because what I found over the years as grant writers is so important to have a support system. And so I encourage that, a lot, for people to build relationships within the course that carry on afterwards.
Love that connections aspect. I think that's great.
I was gonna say, these have been great questions. To kind of elaborate on that point, I think that's what your final kind of slide presentation, which is great, Allison, kind of it demonstrates like the networking opportunities that you get from this. I think Allison and I, like I said, we've done this 3 times, but just the networking that I see her posting on her LinkedIn and like her networks and those connections that are being built, I think it's probably one of the invaluable takeaways from this program, as being an administrator and kind of overseeing it for the last few years. So I would definitely encourage you all to, as you sign up for the course, engage, interact, get to know one another, connect on LinkedIn, because teachers, Chamber of Commerce presidents, like we have a wide variety of professionals in this meeting right now. So really lean into those networks. So
I believe the term is reluctant Chamber of Commerce presidents.
It's funny. I've assumed many roles like that at Western, just kind of like, no, I'll put my hand up, and then you're the president for 3 years, and it kind of goes from there. I would say for the recording and for our Western folks, we are able to process internal JVs as well. So if you are able to get your department to cover that, partial some of the expenses, we can definitely work with you all to accept those funds.
I'm super excited to work with everyone. We have a really fun class. It's certainly not boring. We really get into some spirited discussions and conversations and what ifs. And I really look forward to meeting all of you. It seems like so far away, January. So sign up now so you don't forget about it. And I look forward to seeing you soon.